My name is Calvin Fundiominde. I am currently serving as the director of Ark Quest Education Center, a school based in Mahanga village, that is in Vihiga County, that is in the western part of Kenya. That's a project that is close to my heart. I come from that village, but currently I live and work in Nairobi. I teach at the university, at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and I lecture physics. I was raised up at the village, and that's why, I'm very passionate about transforming these children right at the village. My motivation is the challenges I went through when I went to school. um, I struggled with, basic meals, with getting quality access to education, walking for a long distance, going to school. Those privileges that my son has right now attending to a Nairobi school are not available at the village. And because of those challenges there, we have a lot of children who give up in the process of going to school. I try as much as possible to change the narrative at my village. Um, I am a middle child in a family of 5. And, my when we were growing up, we only had 2 cows. And it was very difficult for my parents to see who to take to school. And, them settling to go the expensive way of taking me up to the university was a tough call. And so I remember dad selling one of the cows to take me to school. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle for me to finish my high school fees, my university fees. And I remember in my second year of study at the university, I prayed to the Lord and I asked the Lord if for sure I'll be able to finish my undergraduate degree and get a job, then I'll be able to transform the life of another child who has no means, a child who is not my relative, a child who does not have support. I will be able to help them get access to an education up to the highest level you have given me. And so I didn't know I was actually, tempting God, because exactly what I prayed is what happened. Took 8,000 shillings and told my mom, there are 8 children who are needy at the village. I want you to start giving them lunch after their school, because so that, they when they come from their village school, they don't have to sleep without food. So I didn't know for sure that I was beginning Ark Quest. So by the end of 2008, these students were 26. So I got someone who will temporarily teach them in the afternoon after lunch for a few hours before they go home. But the numbers proceeded to increase and we realized it was overwhelming. So we had to get now, someone else. And so there were 2. And that's the story of starting Ark Quest Kindergarten. What initially never seemed to become a school was now a school. And we were training, children right at the village, giving them an education and giving them lunch. This village school, where there was no hope, began now becoming the best school in the region. The biblical approach I relate to Ark Quest 2 is the Noah's story. And when Noah was building the ark, many people underestimated him. People will say that we have big mansions. When the floods will come, we will be able to go and hide in our mansions. Others said they will be able to go to the top of the mountains, will get to the top of the trees. And so many people thought he had lost his mind. But, you know, that ark that very many people despised is the greatest story of transformation. But this is a small village school made of mud and wattle with very little finances, but still being able to cause a huge transformation to the village children. You meet very happy children, children that are performing extremely well and going to, you know, top national schools and now into top universities. But I want to talk about this little young girl, Oside, and I'll use one name so that we're able to hide their identity. But this is a child not so far from our village. If you visit Ark Quest, this is one. It's just a walking distance, and she comes from a very humble background. When I visited their home a few years ago, the story was not so good. They lived, I wouldn't call it a temporal house. It was not a house. They did have a toilet. They didn't have a bathroom. Just a small hole dug on the side of their compound where they would go to relieve themselves. And that story, Side's story, really humbled me. It reminded me several years where I was. And, you know, there's a way poverty can entangle you. Side lost the younger brother to malaria, losing a sibling in the current world because your parents are not able to get treatment because of malaria. But not just that, they are not able to raise their meals. And so if you look at their bodies, they were extremely weak. But this is 2024. This girl is amongst the top 3 girls in our school. She's extremely healthy. We've supplied every member of their family with mosquito nets. I still take, when people visit, I allow them to visit Oside's home with maybe one of our teachers. And I still find people shocked at where she lives, but at least now they have a home. They will not have the luxury of a bed. They will still use a lamp for lighting at night, but at least they are assured of breakfast at Ark Quest. They are assured of lunch at Ark Quest. And I picked this girl because this girl is currently supported by one of the general supporters from International Needs. And so it's still work in progress. What is the best way we'll be able to help Oside's parent not to be fully dependent on Ark Quest? Because it is true, we've been able to achieve much from, you know, extreme poverty to now what we are sustaining through the school. But we want to make them independent of Ark Quest. What is these trainings that we will equip the parents with and skills so that they can be able to have a life of themselves away, even though we are trying to help Oside and the rest. Ark Quest is a private school, and so we are the funds we'll be able to generate from school is what will be used to pay the teachers' salaries. It is what we'll be able to use to buy the books for the children and to support all the other support staff. It is what we'll be able to use to buy breakfast and lunch. And so the school is fully dependent on the generous support we get from well wishes, and the income we'll be able to generate from school through the little business projects we are able to do. So child sponsorship is key. Ark Quest at the moment, we have about close to about 140 students at that we serve at the moment. We have the kindergarten. The kindergarten is from the play group, which are 3 years, which starts at 3 years. Then we have preparatory school 1 and preparatory school 2. Then we have the primary section. The primary section normally is the lower primary and the upper primary. The lower primary will be from grade 1 to grade 3. Then we have the upper primary, which is grade 4 to grade 6. Then we also offer the junior secondary school, and the junior secondary school is from grade 7 to grade 9. So yes, that's what we offer now at Ark Quest. We have 13 teachers and we have 13 support staff. This includes 2 cooks. We have a cleaner. We will have workers who will be working on the dairy farm and on the agricultural farm. We will have our school driver. So yes, we have a whole team of the community depending really on Ark Quest. And how beautiful is it that we are not only transforming these children, but we are able also to transform these workers that are at Ark Quest. It is through them coming to school that they are able to get access to, to their basic needs through your generous support through these students, sponsorship and any other support that is coming in. We are able to raise their salaries to be able to support their families. Our day-to-day needs, I'll begin with, is raising food for the school and salaries. And this we are able to achieve mainly through the student sponsorship. So through the student sponsorship, we are encouraging a lot of people to be able to support more children. So by supporting more children, that implies that we'll be able to raise enough finances to be able to buy breakfast and lunch for the children, but also to be able to pay our teachers' salaries. So that is able to serve the short-term needs. When we are looking at the long-term needs, we will want to look at where the school is going. And as I mentioned, for very many years, we were working with temporal structures. So in 2019, we began a transformative journey of building the Ark Quest permanent wing. Remember, the other classes were built with mud and wattle. So with time, they are worn out and they have been infested with termites. And so we are having a lot of repairs because of the walls are falling apart. So we thought it is important to start building up the permanent side of permanent school of Ark Quest. And so we were able to begin building the permanent wing, and currently we have 6 classes that are complete. So we've been able to move six of the students from the old dilapidated building to this new building, and we are remaining with the others in the old wing. These ones are spacious, there's enough lighting, so we are looking at classes having at least 30 chairs and 30 tables, and a teacher's desks and a teacher's table as well. And just the basic infrastructure, including the shelves that might be required for the teachers. My number one area will be to be able to increase child sponsorship. Remember, we are not able to raise enough salaries like what the government will be able to pay their teachers. So the teachers are at Ark Quest, the truth is that they are not paid at the market rate. I look at it more, it's like they are volunteering. And it is through this continuous support, general support, that we have been getting through international needs. At the moment, we have 66 students supported. So if we will have more of these students supported, that implies then we'll be able to raise sufficient finances to be able to pay our teachers enough salary, but also it will be there. We'll be assured of the salary at every month. So that's and we'll be able to keep this child at school. We'll be able to give them breakfast and lunch, but also we will be able to buy, you know, the textbooks and the basic needs, pieces of chalks, Panadol, you know. Remember, these children, some of them are walking for a long distance to come to school. Number two, we are looking at volunteers who are willing to build our infrastructure. And this is including now equipping our current need. We are looking at equipping all these classes with sufficient chairs and tables. We are looking at being able to make sure that there is enough stationery at school, there is enough chalk, there is enough, you know, textbooks. And this we are achieving through the generous support of people who feel like carrying this burden for us. The other part is the long-term way of being able to support Ark Quest, because my thinking is we should not forever be relying on external support. What of raising internal support, raising the Ark Quest business arm to be able to raise enough finances to be able to run this school in future? So this is an ambitious plan, but we are slowly getting there. And we have the Ark Quest agricultural farm that we still need supporters who are able to journey with us, be it in equipping the dairy project or the chicken project or the vegetables, the greenhouse project, and the other Ark Quest businesses that we are doing, so that we are able to raise enough revenue from Ark Quest business that will be able to sustain these big Ark Quest in the future, so that we don't over depend on external support. Ark Quest is God's project. It is not my project or our project. We have seen the Lord really transform the village and us through this project. I have really grown in my faith. especially learning to fully trust and depend on the Lord. Because for sure, you know, our income here is not anywhere close to running that school. But God has overwhelmingly supported us through the years since inception. We have had tough days, we've had tough seasons. But the amazing fact that God has provided for, you know, all the salaries for all our workers to date, it's a mystery. It's a mystery to have all these people journeying with us to transform this small community at my village. It's not something I take for granted. That is the Lord. And the output, you know, investing in a project is one thing. But I think the stories of transformation, you look at the children that are coming out from Ark Quest, and you meet a student right at my village, right from my village, are the top schools in the country, both national schools and extra county schools, and being able to access the university. And I find that humbling. This is not a story I would meet very, very many times, but now that is happening. But the most beautiful part is to meet a child who is transformed, who loves the Lord, who sees that it is the Lord that has helped him through the process. Teaching a child to grow vegetables and attend, you know, our Christian union sessions, our memory verses, our pastoral classes every day, and to meet this child doing that exactly in their home, going home to teach their parents memory verses, you know, Bible verses, reciting these poems in their local church, and visiting their homes and seeing them planting vegetables exactly the way they plant at school, keeping their chicken and getting an egg that they will never have got right in their home. I find that humbling. It's only God who can allow us get this. Yes.